We now speak with Tomohiko Taniguchi, a specially appointed professor at the University of Tsukuba, and he's also a special advisor at the Fujitsu Future Studies Center. Well, thanks again for joining us on East Asia Tonight, Professor. So, what would you say? I know you have a lot of opinions about this, but what would you say was the main driver behind Mr. Kishida's early exit? I mean, you think it was his choice, or was he pushed out by his own party?
The main motivation that he mentioned during his press conference is the fact that a lot of blood has been shed within the party among his party colleagues, simply because he has purged a big number of party colleagues of his own due to this supposedly minor financial scandal that involved not a single Japanese yen of taxpayers' money. So he had to purge those members, and then he said he felt that he would be responsible, and he was thinking of when the next timing would be to step down as the leader of the party, i.e. as prime minister.
Well, it's no secret that the LDP's corruption scandal has impacted Kishida's approval ratings, and you've talked about how he's purged a lot of party members of his own. Aside from that, what were the other key moments that sealed his fate?
In order for the Japanese prime minister to boost his political capital, sometimes he needs to dissolve Japanese parliament, and he has fumbled the ball a number of times. He has failed to seize the moment when he was able to dissolve the parliament and call for snap elections. For his party colleagues, he appeared to be tone deaf when it comes to choosing the right moment. I think he has lost trust from among party colleagues. I think that's been the primary motivation behind him.
So, yeah, Professor, you've said that the Prime Minister, Kishida, he fumbled the ball, he's failed in that moment. But in terms of the party as a whole, LDP, I mean, do you think that Kishida's early exit would help restore the public's trust towards the LDP?
Judging from the gross unpopularity, if you see what the polls say, of the Japanese opposition parties, there is a fair chance for the LDP to regain popularity from the Japanese public. But it'll depend on what sort of debate and discussions you will see among the party leadership, party leader contenders. The election is due in September, so the next month is going to be very much crucial for the Prime Minister hopefuls to show to the nation and to the party grassroots members how capable he or she is in seeking office.
And Professor, let's just talk about, the foreign policies that Kishida's, taken care of. And I suppose, he has his allies, US and South Korea, for instance. How do you think Kishida's departure, what would that mean for Japan's relationship with these allies? And I guess, how is it going to impact the regional security, if at all?
There is nervousness, I would imagine, among those alliance country leaders in the United States, in Australia, in South Korea, and so on, because some contenders have shown uneasiness to work closely with the United States, and some have shown easiness instead to work with China. So always the Japanese Prime Minister has to walk a fine, tight rope in choosing Japanese direction, but objectively speaking, Japan's options are not many in number, and the path forward is narrow. So overall, there is going to be very little differences between now and the future when it comes to Japan's foreign policy.
But Professor, you did say that there is, from now till September, there is a small chance that LDP can potentially regain the trust and popularity as well. So in the search for the next LDP leader, as that heats up, what are some of the key qualities you think the party will be looking for?
Mr. Kishida has been very much ill-capable in communicating his ideas and thoughts to the Japanese public. And that's a very good lesson that he has left. The next leader must be very much a good communicator in telling the Japanese and through the Japanese to the wider world what Japan is going to do, what country Japan is going to look like, how Japan's economy is going to be boosted. So clarity is the first and the second and third most important caveat for the next prime minister.
Well, you mentioned clarity, being able to communicate, being some key factors here. You know, earlier we listed a whole bunch of potential contenders. So, Professor, who is your top pick?
I've got no crystal ball here, but those so-called popular candidates, ironically, are not so much popular among the party members, parliamentary members. And the grassroots vote is important, but parliamentary members' vote is as important. So, first of all, the candidate who is going to stand for the election must put together 20 people, 20 parliamentarians who recommend him or her for the office. So that's going to be the first, most important litmus test to judge the leadership caliber of the contenders you're looking at.
Okay. And finally, Professor, I know you've had some stern, pretty harsh words for Mr. Kishida, but how do you think, his 3-year premiership will be remembered in Japan?
He has done a number of good things. The only thing is that he has failed to tell the public that those policies have come out of his inner self. And that's the failure for Mr. Kishida. But objectively speaking, future historians will be kinder because he has done a number of good things, like mending fences between South Korea and Japan and strengthening Japan's international status with other G7 colleagues. So those are the achievements he has done.
I always enjoyed this candid conversation. Thanks so very much, Professor Tomohiko Taniguchi, for your time joining us from Tokyo.